live from Madison Square Garden in front of a sold-out audience. Dave, the Wave, what's up?
Cuzzo, soon enough, my man, soon enough. That's my famous arena. That's my most famous, favorite spot in the world. But, Max, how are you doing?
Visualization is everything. So I'm just visualizing speaking in front of New Yorkers.
Existence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a football episode breakdown of the AFC. We're in front of millions right now. I'm doing great. How you doing?
Doing awesome, man. It's Thursday, August 16th. It's a beautiful day in Port Orange, Florida. Loving life. Just getting locked in.
We do have a couple big dates coming up. If you guys want to reach out to us, you want to meet us, take some pictures. Last time I was in the bathroom in the stall, the next guy over said, "Hey, what's going on? You're locked in." I said, "Yeah." So we love those type of encounters.
Didn't happen. I was there.
September 8th, October 20th. We're everywhere. September 29th, Island Fights, Undisputed, Clash of the Titans. So, guys, come out, get locked in, get a T-shirt, take a picture, ask questions, debate, everything but fight. We can't do that unless we're in the ring. Unless we're at Pete White Boxing MMA.
And then I'll show you my left hook.
Yeah, Dave, you have a special announcement soon.
Come on,
soon.
man. Come on.
Soon. But here we go. We got AFC. It's NFL season. It's time to talk football.
Yes. August 28th, August 28th, we're going 2 hours in depth with everything football. Records, team, players, hypothesis, descriptions, whatever you want, MVP. This one is just AFC, our predictions, our records, our playoff team, and we'll just have some fun.
Yeah,
cool?
I was at the YMCA yesterday, so before we dive into the NFL, and a nice gentleman came up to me. I won't say any names, of course, but he came up to me and he said, "Hey, I saw Locked In on Facebook. What is that about?" And I told him about it, of course, and he said, "Cool, where can I download, subscribe, where can I listen to you guys? Because I heard a soundbite and it's awesome." And I said, "Well, of course, thank you so much, but Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher. So if you know anybody that's into sports, you listen to us on a regular basis, first time listening, tell people because we'd love to get more opinions, more feedback because we are the People's Podcast. So if there's something you want to hear us talk about, just reach out to us."
It's like that movie, like Pay It Forward.
Exactly.
Why would you not want the whole world to hear this podcast? So pay it forward, tell a friend, tell a family member.
Yeah, it was so nice. But all right, here we go. AFC. Let's start off the AFC North. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals.
Okay, for the last 5 years, Max, it's been a two-horse race. It's been the Steelers or Ravens, and of course the Browns have been the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with that, but I even think Pittsburgh, this is Pittsburgh's year. Le'Veon Bell's probably last year in Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger a year.
I have to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. Thank you.
He'll kill you if you say it wrong. So just making sure.
Remember,
I'm looking out for you. That's all.
Thank you.
Le'Veon Bell.
Le'Veon Bell. Roethlisberger's getting older, so I think Pittsburgh's going to have an awesome regular season. 12-4, 13-3, easily win the division. Baltimore, in that middle 7-9 team. They're second place. But my throwing it out there, I actually think the Browns will not finish in fourth place in this division, Max. Tyrod Taylor, Baker Mayfield, they get out of the cellar. They beat the Cincinnati Bengals for third place in the division. Who you got?
All right, I have the Steelers winning as also, of course, Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon
MVP
Bell.
Candidate.
You have the most offensive talent with the Pittsburgh Steelers. You have a veteran quarterback, Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have the Steelers winning it as well. I think the Baltimore Ravens may be the most talked about because the Lamar Jackson and Flacco, who's going to start? It's kind of like that. As soon as something happens, the crowd is going to get behind Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be a storyline amongst the whole NFL season. It's as soon as Flacco has a bad game, Lamar Jackson's name will get brought up. He has a great game, people are Team Flacco again. So I think you're going to see an interesting story with Baltimore. But like you said, the Cleveland Browns are I'm looking at my notes here. They have a pretty good improved roster. You could say they're the most improved team. I mean, you have Nick Chubb that they just drafted, and then
Juice Landry.
Yeah, and then Baker Mayfield. We're not as high on him as others.
Huge improvement, though.
But yeah, huge improvement.
In Taylor.
We say the quarterback position is the most important position.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So the fact that they've improved there is a pretty big step.
100% agree.
So I think I agree with you there. They're not the worst team.
Okay,
The
cool.
Bengals are the worst team.
Real quick, don't go on a tangent, just a yes or no answer. Off script, is Ben Roethlisberger a top 10 quarterback of all time?
Yeah.
Okay, next.
You agree?
Yeah.
It's always hard. Like, there's really no right or wrong, but if you look at his...
He's at the end of he's at that 9 through 12. There's like the whole Roethlisberger, Steve Young, Dan Marino, Drew Brees thing in there, and he's a part of it. But I'm a pro Ben guy. I like Ben Roethlisberger football-wise. I think he's a great all-time quarterback.
Especially if they have a successful season.
Yeah.
Like, this can just build to his resume.
Yes, the legacy continues.
All right, want to move to AFC South?
You got it.
North,
Guzzo.
South? Okay, so we have the Texans, the Colts, the Jaguars, and the Titans.
Can I praise you real quick on this one?
I already know what you're going to say, of course.
We are quarterbacks in this podcast. We talked about it. You need a quarterback in football more than any other sport. It's one player changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
2 years ago, the Browns had the first pick. Me and the guru, Ryan, were like, nope, pick Myles Garrett. He's a no-brainer defensive, going to be a legit option. You're like, no, they should pick Deshaun Watson. They did not. The Texans traded up to pick Watson, and he is an absolute stud. I'm all in with Deshaun Watson and the Texans this year. I got the Texans winning the division.
I do too,
Okay.
and appreciate the praise. You don't ever have to ask me to praise me. Just go ahead and do it. Deshaun Watson, like you just said, I think he's obviously – he's a game changer, and being able to have that quarterback who's mobile, and if you have a bad O-line, it doesn't. Of course, you want a good O-line, but having Deshaun Watson almost bails you out of that because he's quick, he's mobile, he's athletic. But the question is, of course, with him, he's coming off an injury, and if he gets injured again because of his playing style, it's kind of like I don't want to say Andrew Luck, but it's just like we know he has talent, but our injury is going to hold back his career. So I think this is a big season for him. We're not questioning his talent.
Yes.
We're questioning his health.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. And hey, you said his name, so let's bounce right to him. Andrew Luck, they're the next team in the division. So last year, guys, Jacksonville won the division. Tennessee was in second place. They also made the playoffs. And then, of course, the Colts and Texans had down years because they're legit Pro Bowl quarterbacks were hurt and injured. This year, I flip-flop it. First place, I got the Texans. Second place, I got the Colts because Andrew Luck, healthy, for 15, 16 games, Colts equal playoffs. That's just what it was for 3-4 years in a row. So I got the Colts coming back into the AFC playoff picture. Third place, I have Tennessee, and it's like I don't love them, and I don't hate them either. They're just that team, 7-9, 6-10, 8-8. They're just that team. And fourth place, probably my biggest AFC. That's why I kind of wanted to really hammer this down. My call, my locked in, man. Maybe
get locked in early.
Okay,
go ahead.
okay.
If it makes sense, if it makes money, it makes sense.
I love it. Jacksonville Jaguars guys made the playoffs. They are getting a lot of buzz right now. They are my locked in team to ascend. The New York Giants
Descend.
Thank you, cousin. You know I'm a wordsmith. 2 years ago, the Giants were like 13-3, 12-4, a playoff team, and then last year they fell apart and won 3-4 games. They had the second pick of the draft. This year, Jacksonville is that team for me. I think they win 4 games at most. I'm not a Blake Bortles guy. I love the division. I love Watson. I love Luck. I even like Tennessee and Mariota. So I have Jacksonville. They're my locked-in team of just being train wreck.
It's all right. There's a whole bunch to talk about there, but I want to start off with the Colts before I dive into your Jaguars.
Okay.
Theory is what happens when you have an offensive-minded coach and a great quarterback.
Wins.
Okay, so that's why I think the Colts are back. Of course, there's a lot of question marks about Andrew Luck. It's like at one point they said he was throwing a Nerf football. So, of course, when you hear stories like that, it reminds you of the Markelle Fultz almost. So it's like they're shooting with the visualization stuff. So, but Andrew Luck has proven that he has talent. Markelle Fultz hasn't. So it's like I think Andrew Luck's going to have a good year, but of course that's going to be a storyline is his health. Is he going to be Andrew Luck of old? But with the new offensive head coach, I do think they're second in this division as well.
Okay, cool.
But the thing I don't think you're crazy, but I do agree with you, the Jaguars. I don't like Bortles.
Me either.
And I think everyone loves the defense and they love the emotion. And like you just said, they're getting a lot of buzz. But typically that's when people step back is after a lot of buzz and after a great year, you kind of get ahead of yourselves and forget the fundamentals. You forget that drive. And with the quarterback that's inconsistent, that's not – you can't rely on him game in and game out. And we say the quarterback is the most important position.
Yes.
So inconsistent is not a word you want to hear with the quarterback.
So in that division, they have easily, to me, the worst quarterback in that division.
Yes.
Last year they had an easy schedule, and then they played the Colts and Texans twice without their starting quarterback. So just those 4 wins. Just say if you flip-flop the Colts and Texans wins with Jacksonville, they were like 9-7, 10-6. If you just flip-flop it, they're 6-10, 7-9 in that range. And then I just think with the first place record, because they were the first in their division, so they play all the first place teams. So now your schedule is just harder. It is what it is. I have them telling you 4 or 5 wins.
But the Titans have a new coordinator and coach, right? I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I remember hearing that
Malarkey?
it's like a transition. So that has to take away some, like, there's an adjustment period with anything.
Okay.
With new employees at work, with a new
Okay.
business, with just starting anything. There's the Lakers, LeBron. We know they'll be good, but there's going to be that short-term adjustment period.
So do you have the Titans as the caboose of this division?
I don't know.
You like that one?
I don't know, man. It's tough, and I don't – because I know we're going to have a big NFL preview episode,
Okay.
so it's kind of on hold.
Okay.
But I get your point. I'm not – Bortles doesn't get me going. You know what I mean? Like, I don't feel safe betting my money on Bortles. So I'm going to leave that on hold for right now.
So you like my locked in of not betting on Bortles. That's what I
Yes,
kind of did.
yeah,
I was
people
like,
will
he's
call you-
horrible. I'm locking in that he's not good.
People are going to call you crazy and say, oh, the Jaguars are a Super Bowl contender.
Mm-hmm.
How could you say that they're going to be the caboose?
Yes.
But I don't think you're crazy.
Thank you. And when I mention caboose, I usually nail it.
There you go. Let's jump to the AFC East. You ready?
Ooh, I was going to save them for the last, but let's go with it.
You want to go with it?
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously Patriots,
Yes.
Jets, Dolphins, and your Bills.
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to start off or you want me to start off?
You start off because I got three, major things for this division. So I'll let you lead. I'll follow and knock in the home run.
Okay. Let's start off with the Patriots, obviously. I think they do win the division. I
100%
think,
agree.
like, obviously this roster isn't as talented as past rosters. You're losing some big pieces. But I do think, Matt Patricia, I think, is an underrated part of this, too. You're losing just coaching. But I do think Brady and Belichick, at the end of the day, no matter what you hear, what stories, whether they're going tit for tat in the offseason, they have one common goal. That's to win a Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but I think they win the division. You have the greatest quarterback of all time with the greatest coach, arguably, of all time. I think they win the division.
Let me just interrupt with the Patriots. We talked about coaching and quarterbacks, especially the other three teams in this division. Like, three quarterbacks and all three coaches for the Jets, Bills, and Dolphins, they're not proven. Like, they're just inconsistent. They're young. They haven't proven themselves yet. And then you have the greatest coach and the greatest quarterback ever. It's like, it's a no-brainer. The Patriots win this division.
But do you think there's something to it as Tom Brady's getting older and older? The O-line's not the greatest. Like, do you think there's going to be a time maybe this season where we see his age, or maybe there, like, of course, knock on wood, you never want to see anyone get injured, but with an older quarterback with a bad O-line is the recipe for disaster?
Yes, I have them stepping back. They've won this division by 2 or 3 games for the last 3-4 years. I have it as a close division. I only have them winning 10 games. They usually win 12, 13, 14 and have a bye. I don't have them as a first-round bye team in the AFC as well, but I do have them winning the division.
Cool. All right, we agree on that one.
Yes.
Next is our guy, right? Next has to be our guy.
Yeah, I'm in love with Sam Darnold.
There we go.
And the
Okay.
Jets. They're my dark horse sleeper to the AFC playoffs this year. No one has them in the playoffs. I like the coach, Todd Bowles. I like their defense, and I love me some Sam Darnold. It's like Allison Brie or Sam Darnold. I don't know.
They have a good schedule, like a workable schedule, but like you just said, we talked about Baker Mayfield as an upgrade for the Browns.
Yes.
Sam Darnold is beyond an upgrade for the New York Jets.
Gosh.
Beyond an upgrade. So when you have the best rookie quarterback who we believe out of the draft, then you have potential and you have a higher ceiling. And I definitely think they're second right behind the Patriots.
I do too. I have them at 9-7. They're one game off. And that's
a good season.
Oh, yeah,
they were projected not to win a game last season, so to go to 9-7.
Yes, I like the Jets a lot, and not a lot of people do. So like I like being a little bit off with the mainstream.
And it's weird, as a Giants fan, I'm so upset we passed up on Sam Darnold, but I love the guy. So it's like, just because he's not on your team doesn't mean you can't love the guy. Yeah. So I'm still supporting him.
Yeah,
even though he's going to kill our Giants.
Stockton with Sam Darnold.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah, Darren Till. He's fighting for the title. We know our stock.
Yes.
All right. Next, you want to start off the Miami Dolphins?
So you have Miami in third place over Buffalo?
I wasn't going in necessarily order, but you know what I mean. The Bills, I have a lot of questions.
I know, so I'm a Bills fan. I took my son to the Buffalo Bills playoff game, something I never thought I would do in my whole life. We went to Jacksonville. It was a great time. They lost, but it was a great time. I have the Bills in last place this year.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Josh, I just don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really hope that Josh Allen's awesome as like Carson Wentz and blows us away, and we're Philly. Like, we could be Philadelphia of the East real quick because if the Patriots are slowing off. I don't know. So I got him in fourth. In Miami, I just don't like. Tannehill's okay. Their coach is okay, Adam Gase. So I have him at 6-10, maybe 7-9. But I have Buffalo 4 or 5 wins this year, Cuzzo.
I agree with you, because what are you getting with Josh Allen?
Don't know.
What are you getting? It's like, he can. he's on his knees, but he could throw a football field. But then it's like, okay, you may have the arm strength, but do you have the IQ, the precision, the accuracy, all the other intangibles you need as a quarterback?
That's like the dumbest thing ever. Like, on your knees. If your quarterback's on your knees, he's down.
Exactly.
Like, why even, like, it's like, oh, I can shoot from out of bounds in basketball. Who cares? You don't shoot from out of bounds in basketball. You don't need that skill.
It's the perfect analogy. I want to see you throw in the pocket. Like, I want to see you be able to make the throws that are actually going to be made in a game.
Throw to an open running back. Like,
okay, so put you on the spot.
Yeah.
You're a Bills guy. What happens to Josh Allen? Bust, or does he kind of exceed expectations? Because he's a big question mark.
So is it one or the other? Can
It's
it be
one
in
or the other.
middle?
There's no in the middle.
Oh, my gosh. No gray?
There's no gray, black or white.
Oh, man. Bust. Yeah. I'm 51-49 that he's a bust. And
That's pretty close. I mean, 50-50, though.
Like, I'm not going to give up on him. We have weapons now. Kelvin Benjamin, Corey Coleman. We have legit weapons. Shady McCoy, hopefully he stays out of trouble. He's a really, really good running back, Shady. So I think he's got a shot. And so many people, it's like the Carson Wentz thing. It's like that's what the comparison. You hear big arm from a smaller school. So I'm hoping. I'm wishing.
You
I'm
hope
praying.
he's Wentz.
It's like I go to bed right before bed. I pray. I pray for my kids' health. I pray for peace around the world and Josh Allen to be good at quarterback.
Are you a bigger Bills or Knicks fan?
Knicks.
No question.
Not
There you
close.
go.
Not
I like
close.
it. All right. So you pray for Josh Allen, which means he needs praying. You don't have to pray for your Knicks.
Oh, I know they're getting Durant next year.
Okay, we have that episode out. Come on, come on.
Hey.
But all right, let's shift gears to the AFC West.
Cool.
I know you wanted to do East, but let's go to the West. We'll save that for last. We have the Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders.
Yes.
And even though I think they may be last place, I want to start off with the Raiders.
Oh, you got him in last. Okay, I don't. Okay, keep going.
I just think there's so many questions with
Okay.
Gruden. I mean, Carr's coming off an injury as well.
He
And
is.
it's like whenever you come off an injury, there's going to be a question mark. I mean, you have all these talented quarterbacks, Luck, Deshaun, and Carr. When people respond differently, not everybody responds off injuries the same. Some respond spectacular fashion. Some just are never the same.
He'd never come back the same.
I mean,
Great
look at
point.
Derrick Rose. He's an MVP. He had more explosion than anybody, but he just never came back the same. But I just think not coaching for, 10 years?
Yeah, exactly 10.
Can you step away from anything? The podcast game for 10 years, I guarantee you technology changes a little bit. Something changes a little bit. Besides if you're Max and Dave, of
We
course.
would still slay. We would still slay.
But I just think that's a big adjustment period.
Yeah. No, totally agree. So I agree with all those points except for one about the last place.
Do they even know where they're playing?
They have Derek Carr, and the Broncos have Case Keenum. And I'm a quarterback guy, and I want to throw out all my playoff teams at the end just real quickly with the quarterbacks, and I have it like it's funny. But I do have Derek Carr in that 8-8 range, just because I think if they go 10-6, I'd be like, oh, okay. If they go 6-10, I'd be like, yeah. But so I'm just putting them at 8-8 to be safe. So I'm not that wrong. I have the Broncos last place in the division. The Chiefs are a surprise team. Great roster. They've had great rosters for 2, 3, 4 years now. But they finally got out of Alex Smith, and they went to Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
A young quarterback with a big arm, good mobility. So that's a giant sleeper in the AFC. And last,
I'm about to say, so we both have the Chargers winning.
Bro, Super Bowl pick. I have the Chargers
and the
in
Saints,
the Super
right?
Bowl.
The Chargers and Saints.
Super Bowl, yes.
So what makes you think they're a Super Bowl contender? There's a difference between winning the division
Yeah.
and being a Super Bowl contender.
This is why. The Patriots come back. I think Deshaun Watson and Lucker, this is their first year, coming back healthy. So I think next year the Texans or Colts go to the Super Bowl. And I like the Chargers. I think the West is we don't like the Broncos. We don't like the Raiders. So I think they have an easier road. I think they get home field advantage on the West Coast. And, just sometimes in life, everything comes together. This is the year that the wide receivers stay healthy for the Chargers. Philip Rivers never have had great playoff success. Everything just comes together this 1 year. Brady's a year older. Too early for Luck, Watson, and Darnold. It's just a wide open AFC division. Chargers, Super Bowl bound.
Los Angeles Chargers.
LA.
And I did hear this point on TV, and it's such a great point. In Los Angeles, you hear who Klay Thompson dates. Like Tristan Thompson makes the news. How come the Los Angeles Chargers never make the news?
I know. They're the Chargers.
You know what I mean? Like, how is that even possible?
And they have like a Hall of Fame quarterback. They
Yeah.
got really stud Joey Bosa, the defensive end's like a star. Great wide receiver, really good running back, Melvin Gordon. Like they got.
That's a good
studs.
thing, though. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, they're quiet assassins. They're winning.
They're Chargers, but they're assassins at the same time.
That should be their nickname.
Should be a movie.
Assassins that charge. Starring Ryan Reynolds.
Then it's a great movie.
It is.
But all right, you already gave your locked in. I want to give my locked in.
Yes, lock it in.
We already talked about it a little bit, but not only does Deshaun Watson win his division, which we already said, I think this year is kind of like that, oh, shoot, this guy is the future
like
type of
top 5 quarterback.
Yeah, and like you said,
okay, cool.
Coming back off an injury, probably doesn't go to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl this year. But like you said, by next year, after a year under his belt of not being injured, getting back into the NFL game, he's still new to the NFL game, so it's like he's coming back and he's still new. Give him this year. I think Deshaun Watson proves this year he's the future.
Cuzzo, you have said 9 things about Deshaun Watson, and you have been 100% correct on all of them. So, wow, I back you on it. You've been on point, locked in with Deshaun Watson.
Thank you. I follow him on Instagram. That's all I do. That's my research.
Really cool. Hey, just real quick, here's my AFC overview. The 4 division winners, Texans.
Yep.
Steelers.
Yep.
Patriots.
Yep.
Chargers.
Yep. We agree on all those.
Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson.
It's not rocket science.
Right. And my 2 playoff teams are the Chiefs with Pat Mahomes and the Colts with Andrew Luck, 2 young quarterbacks that are really, really talented but just kind of put it together roster. And my dark horse is the New York Jets with Sam Darnold.
I like it.
You like it?
I do. I'm not going to reveal everything. I want to save some things for the 28th.
Yeah, 28th.
But
big
Sam,
show.
this is a big season for Sam Darnold, especially if he starts week 1. This is a big season for Sam Darnold.
It will, I was going to say, leave it hanging. Leave it hanging. We'll, on the 28th, I'll ask you, is Sam Darnold going to start week 1?
I have the answer, but I'll wait.
Tease him.
All right. Is it a yes or is it a no? Vote now. Text locked in with 2 N's.
Oh, my gosh. Killing it, Cuzzo.
Great episode, guys. Download, subscribe, 5 stars. Remember, spread the word. Dunkin' Donuts for Dave.
Yes.
Or just a jacket for me, a locked-in jacket. Buy me a locked-in jacket. Why do we always have to provide it to you? You know what I mean? Just send something through Spreadshirt.com, locked in with 2 N's. There's a couple slashes in there.
Yep.
And
just
then
Google it. You'll find it.
Yeah, just Google it. Everyone has an iPhone these days. If you don't have an iPhone, you're doing something wrong.
Agree.
But if you don't, Stitcher Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, every podcast platform, locked in with 2 N's. Like always, guys, stay locked in.